Aloha mai kako, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Moana Nui Podcast. I am your host, Moana, and tonight I am joined once again by my co-host, Dana.
Hello, everyone.
Tonight, we're really excited to have another amazing and talented guest on the show. Born in Philadelphia and raised all over the United States, Glenn Lawrence brings a unique perspective to comedy. His quick-witted style, quirky point of view has allowed to grace stages all over the country from California to DC. In addition to being a seasoned performer, Glenn also produces content via his LevelUp Comedy YouTube channel and various podcasts in the DC area, including My Fantasy Wife with comedienne Blair Postman. Glenn has performed all over the country, including the Sundance Film Festival, and he has hosted and featured with comedians such as Tony Rock, Paris Sashay, Rob Maher, Tommy Taylor Jr., Rahmein Mostafavi, and Franqi French. In addition to traveling to perform and produce, he's also a director, aspiring screenwriter, poet, and short story author. I Gotta Say Something Live from the Living Room is a totally self-produced and his first comedy special. Please go and check it out on YouTube. You can find Glenn at www.levelupcomedy.com and on Facebook and Instagram at LevelUp Comedy. And let us now bring Glenn onto the show.
Hey, what's going on? Hey.
Welcome.
Hello.
Put you in the spotlight there. Put you in the spotlight.
Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha.
Yeah, you were reading all those accolades, and I'm like, damn, was that me? Did I really do all that? You're talking about me? Okay.
Exactly. You'd be surprised, like the things that you do if you sit down and reflect.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, sometimes you just put your head down and then you work really hard. And then when you look back, it's like, oh, damn, I did do all those, things. So that, that was kind of cool. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Love the podcast. I love both of you guys. I love your dynamic and I'm really happy to be here.
No, we're really excited to have you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found yourself in comedy.
Okay, well, I failed at marriage, so I figured, if you bomb at marriage, it can't be so bad to bomb on stage. But no, I'm kind of a kid of the country, I guess you would say. I just moved around. I was a military brat, so I moved around, and I felt like that gave me a lot of perspective. And taught me a lot of things and then, just been through just living life. I feel like I've been very observant, which kind of put me into the craft of being an observer for entertainment. And that's kind of, what I do here. I ended up in Arlington after moving from California from Philadelphia to California to Virginia again. And I don't know. I mean, that's kind of like the what I did as like a kid. And then I always just had an eye for television and film and all that type of stuff. And it kind of got me into the filmmaking thing. And then later in life, I figured, because I just was always good at meeting people, moving around so much, I figured how can I use my natural talents to get paid or to do something? And I hopped on stage one time and I was like, oh, this is what I've been doing my whole life. I've just been, saying, funny things, interesting observations, and people laugh at them. And now, it's like something I could get paid to go on stage and do. Yeah. So I don't know if that was a compact. I probably should have mapped out where my before, because it was kind of all over the place. But yeah, that's kind of my genesis. I just been all over the country and, found comedy and then just kind of ran with it. Once it's like once you find that thing that that you knew you should be doing and then you grab a hold of it, it's just like, oh, I should have been here the whole time. Why did I start this at 30 something? Why didn't I'm not going to tell you which 30, but why didn't I start this much earlier, in my, 20s or something like that? Why didn't I start way earlier?
Wait till you hit the 40.
I did. That was what I was talking about in the special about how I'm older now. And it's just things change. They change so rapidly for you. and being older, I feel like it's given me a perspective. I think if I tried to do comedy when I was younger, I probably wouldn't have had the perspective that I do now. You know what I mean? So I could look back on those years and talk about them, but with the eye of somebody who's much older. You know what I mean? So I think it makes it a little bit more well-rounded.
Now, many comedians have been inspired by like Red Fox, Robin Harris, Eddie Murphy, and more, but a lot of comedians and directors have profited off of making fun of other cultures, disabilities, genders, and such. With the increased social awareness and political correctness, has this broadened your comedy and your writing, or do you find it suppresses a lot of creativity?
I think it makes you a better comedian, and here's why. Every joke has a target. No matter what joke you're talking about, it has a target. Even if you're talking about something, like an ugly building or something. Somebody designed that building. Somebody made that building. There's always going to be a target. But where a comedian, where their bread is buttered, is being able to thread that needle between finding a target in something, making other people observe it and laugh at it, but not harming, I feel like, the person that is a target. Like, I could make a joke about either one of you two in a way that you would both laugh at it, right? But then I could also make a joke in a way where, Moana might laugh at it, but you would be really hurt by it. And then there's also a way to make it where both of you are offended, you know what I mean? And nobody laughs. So I think a true comedian is able to thread that needle where everybody laughs at the joke, even the person who is the target and who is in on it. And I think for me, it's never been an issue or been a problem, because I've always approached everything I do with love. So, even if somebody is a target, I in my heart, I'm a person who kind of tries to exude love. And I think you can feel that, you know what I mean? Like, I think even if you hear a joke, if your family member jokes about you, you can feel when it's like out of love, and when like, yo, you're trying to cut, like, hold on. Like, there's just that little bit of heat on it when they're not saying it in a loving way, that it's just like, yo, hold up. What, that was a little, but, I think there are two things. I think in terms of the person who's giving the joke out, they need to be aware of that. And for me, like I said, it's not a problem because I approach everything with love. But I think also the people who are receiving it need to understand where it's coming from, because I think nowadays there's so many people who have been hurt, and there's so much hurt to go around. A lot of people aren't trying to let it go, or they're not trying to laugh. Like, people are hurt and they want people to know that they're hurt. So they don't approach it at a point of like, okay, let's have a laugh. And until we can, figure that out, and people are hurt less, I think we're going to keep seeing that. If you're not accommodating for certain people, then there's going to be a lot of anger, and people aren't, it's a lot easier for me to joke about, something that's going on with your culture if your culture is thriving. So that's the thing. So, like there's a lot of white people jokes now, right? They don't care, because it's like, yo, we winning. But now it's getting a little bit tougher out there, you know what I'm saying, with everything. So now people are like standing up like, that's bullshit. I hurt too. You know what I mean? Like, once people start hurting, then all of a sudden you're not able to like laugh. And I think that's the good thing about comedy. It can actually like lessen that and allow people to look at themselves and laugh a little bit. But I think the temperature in the country has got to get toned way down, and there's got to be a less hurt that is happening all around the country before we can get to the point where we're all laughing together again.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that, because like now the biggest thing is the whole Karen aspect that, you got to make Karen positive again. It's like, well, if y'all stop making it so obvious.
Yeah. It's funny, because I don't know. I don't know if it was, I'll just say this. I try to put this in my special, and I try to talk about that in my art, and try to bring it out and bring it to light in my art. And I hope that, people receive it as such. You know what I'm saying? Because of the pandemic, everything was shut down. We didn't have a lot of time to do open mics and practice and hone like we would normally do. So I know there's definitely some meat on the bones of some of those jokes, but I definitely was trying to attack that because, that's a real thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's a real fear that I have as a Black man going out, if that's going to happen to me. Like, even if I wanted to help somebody, I gotta second guess whether I should help in this situation, just because, you know what I mean? Like, I may be the one who's viewed as like doing something wrong or whatever. So it's a real thing in society, but I tried to speak to it a little bit and maybe help people be just like, I never thought of it like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you think, a question from the audience, do you believe people are just too thin-skinned nowadays?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely think there's that, but I also think there's a certain degree of people not taking responsibility for like what they're putting out into the world. You know what I mean? Like there's both sides of it. You know what I mean? Like, people got to be able to take a little bit more, and then people got to be able to dish it out in a more kind of a caring way. I was just watching Chris Rock's special, and he has a great joke on there about how, like, we kind of need bullies. Like, when I was growing up, bullies are a way that I figured out how to navigate life, and now we're trying to like take that away. And I just view it as, there's a lot of people who went through a lot of things, and now they're trying to stop their children or other people from experiencing those things. Now, to some degree, that's good, but to some degree, isn't that life? Isn't that life like, you fall down and skin your knee from riding a skateboard, but it teaches you like, okay, let me maneuver better when I'm riding that skateboard. If you never fall down, then all of a sudden you don't have that fear anymore, but it's still like a danger and you don't know how to navigate it. And I think that's a thing that people aren't thinking about. They're trying to like block everybody out from any type of pain or hurt, not realizing that life is is pain, and you're gonna have to get it. Now, to what degree, I guess we can all argue, but I think to some degree we do have to have a little bit of a thicker skin. I choked on that one.
I really appreciate that perspective. It's very true. Like, I definitely remember like some, harder things, or that, as I was growing up, it was more mentors like pushing me in a way, right? Like, but it helped me, like, it toughens you up and it prepares you, like you said, for real life. So yeah, that's a good.
Met somebody who's never been punched? Have you ever met somebody who's never like been hit or whatever? Like, they usually say like some really silly shit, and you're like what? Why would you think that you could just get away with that? Right. It's like, oh, you've never been physically like assaulted to know that you can't say shit like that. Right? Like, once you realize, oh, like there's a real physical threat from spouting off at the mouth, then you change it different. And I'm not advocating for like physical violence. What I'm saying is you're more aware of how you treat people when you know that it can lead to you also being harmed.
Yeah, like my husband would say, wrap them in a beat to get a little bit of respect out of them.
I like that.
So when did you realize that your quirky point of view was beneficial to becoming a comedian?
I think the first time I like, oh, you know what it was? I was like, I moved around a lot, and I just kind of got along with people. And as I got older and I started reading and figuring out what was going on with me, I figured out, oh, that was a coping mechanism, and how I coped with being in different environments all the time, figuring out funny, right? Plus my family was always laughing. But there was this one time I was playing basketball and I was just being me. And I did something, and then one of my friends was like, "Man, you're real funny," and just it like clicked in my head. I was like, "Huh, I am funny." Like, oh, I did okay. I guess I am. But then when I actually went to like a comedy show with another one of my friends, and I was like, man, I think I could do that, because you're watching comedy, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, and you think to yourself like, damn, I could do that. Like, I could get on stage and say that, you know what I mean? And I was doing that. I said that, and then one of my friends was like, "Well, get on stage, take a picture, like visualize yourself in that situation." And then I did it. So took the picture, and this was before I started comedy. So took the picture of doing it, and it was kind of like at that moment, it was kind of just like a talking shit type of thing. Went there, took the picture, and then years later, I went back and actually attempted it. And once again, I was in the elevator and I was just talking shit to one of my neighbors. And I was like, yeah, I was thinking about doing comedy. And he was like, oh yeah, I used to do comedy. I write comedy and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, word. So then we just got together and we started writing. And then he was like, we should put a date on it. Like when we're going to go and actually go practice it, go to one of these mics and do it. And so everything built up to that date. And I went out there and, a bunch of people came to see me. And then I did it. And it went well, right? Like I felt like it went well. My friends enjoyed it. And I was like, oh man, this is great. Like, why haven't I been doing this before? Now I did record myself. So I looked back at the video and I was like, oh, that was trash. Like now that I look at, I've been doing it for a minute and I look back, I'm like, oh, that wasn't good at all. That was not great. But I think it was just the energy and just kind of how I am carried me through. And that's just been something, I've always been able to get in front of people and just talk, say something. If there needs to be an announcement, I'm cool with doing it. If there's something crazy going on, I'm like, I'll be like, all right, let's, be the one to kind of calm it down. Like I don't have a problem of getting in front of people and talking. And, those are kind of some of the key moments that let me be like, oh, maybe I should do this.
So you recently self-produced a special called Live from the Living Room. Tell us a little bit about it and what inspired the skit.
So actually I changed the name to I Gotta Say Something, right? And it was Live from the Living Room, but the day that I was shooting it, Kevin Hart came out with his special and that was his big thing, Live from the Living Room. And I was just like, man, what am I supposed to do now? But I had like the idea for it and like kind of the artwork and all that stuff worked up for it. And I thought it was cool because usually what happens is I'll be in my living room and I'll have, my microphone. As a matter of fact, I got my microphone right here and I'm just in my living room practicing just like this, just da-da-da-da-da, saying, roasting my pillows, talking about my decor. And that's how I get my like stage presence, right? So I was doing that, and then sometimes my friends will come up. So I was like, man, you know what I should do? I should do a special where that's the artwork, where it's like a guy in his living room, kind of like, I don't know if you've seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like with Charlie Day, where he has there's that image of the conspiracy theory where he's like standing up there and he's just like, and then like there's all the conspiracy theory posters and stuff like that in the background. I was like, yo, I think that would be kind of cool. Like if someone's in their living room, but instead of having like a pen or a Sharpie, I have the microphone. So the artwork is what kind of came first. And then, it's just a lot of like, seeing what was going on in kind of the world on the internet and stuff. It's just like, man, I feel like I got to start somewhere. I got to start saying something somewhere. And I felt like it was a good jumping off point to start doing that. I wanted to do a special, put it out earlier, but the pandemic changed things and the whole concept. So I was like, I feel like I got to speak to like this day and age, this time, but then also kind of prepare for the thing I wanted to do, which was Kites from the Crate, which is the next special that's going to come out in 2021 sometime. But yeah, that was kind of what inspired it. It was just like, I'm always practicing in my living room. And then I loved It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So thinking like, man, I could like marry those two, like put the artwork in the motif of that famous kind of meme or picture. Do you guys know what I'm talking about though? The Charlie Day thing with like where he's like standing there and he has all the artwork or whatever.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll find it. I'll pull it up so people can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm really I was really excited about the about what the artwork that I made. You know what I mean? And how like I married those two things. I was like, oh, hold on, let's see if I could. All right, ask me a question while I'm looking for it.
Okay. So it takes a lot of grit to stand up in front of large crowds of strangers and attempt to make them laugh. Do you have like, how do you psych yourself up, and do you have a ritual before you get on stage?
I do, actually. As a matter of fact, my ritual is I meditate for 8 minutes, and that consists of what is it? It's like 5 minutes of deep breath while I'm listening to binaural beats or like soothing music, and then I do a 3-minute Om. So I don't know if you guys do yoga or like anything like that, but Om is it's basically where you kind of you exhale in a certain way that it makes a certain sound, and then you bring it back, and it's supposed to be like kind of the resonance of the universe or whatever, and kind of bring that all in. So a 5-minute breath and then a 3-minute Om, and then I'm ready to go.
Do you use those bowls? There's like just something about the sound.
I don't have those bowls. I want one of those bowls. I want to get one of those bowls. I don't have it, but I want to get one.
Yeah, I had a friend who's a massage therapist, and during one of our sessions, she did that thing, and I was like, "What was that? That was amazing."
Yeah, like it feels really good, right? Like to hear it, and then it's just like I don't know, it's just like really soothing. But that's what it is. It's like there's a vibration within the universe, that I think that everyone can like tap into, and I try to tap into that before I go on stage, and usually it's worked out well, so. That's my thing that I don't know if it's weird or whatever, but that's my thing. That's what I do. I go and I meditate for 8 minutes total, but 5-minute breath, 3-minute Om, and then go out there and try to crush it.
Probably if you did end up with the bowls, you probably have like the other comedians back there with you.
right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's funny though, because not a lot of people do it, and then I kind of get like other comedians are just like, what is he doing or whatever, because I'll go into the bathroom and then you just hear me going, oh, and people are what is happening right now? But that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to Om it up.
Right.
There you go.
Bring it home.
There you go.
Oh, see, that's a shirt right there. Bring it home.
Bring it home.
Now, all creators tend to battle with imposter syndrome and mental roadblocks. Who are the people that make up your support system, aka your board of directors, that help you see beyond the self-doubt and grow?
So number one, from the beginning, from my genesis, is my mother, sister, and grandmother have instilled in me like a supreme sense of self-confidence and self-esteem, and they always keep me going. Now, my mother never thinks like any of my jokes are funny. She's just like, oh, you should. I don't even get that one. You should talk more about the family. And I'm just like, I think it's funny. People laugh. He's like, well, people don't know what they're laughing at nowadays. That's, but it's like if I go to her with a joke and then she doesn't think it's funny, like I'm like, okay, this one might work. So those three, that's like my genesis and my growing up. Currently, it's my wife. I recently got married. My wife Stephanie she's really been in my corner. Yeah, and she's amazing. I bounce things off her quite a bit, and there's like a little twinkle in her eye when I come up with an idea that's going to be a good one, where she's just like, yes, that's good. You know what I mean? And then sometimes sometimes I'm like, I think every idea is great, and then she won't agree, and I'll be really annoyed because I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, that's another one of my great ideas, Stephanie. Like, what? And then but then it's really good because it does make me go back to the drawing board, even though I'll be like, like annoyed and think about it, and then we come up with things together. We started this comedy company together, LevelUp Comedy, where we were running shows and everything before the pandemic. She's helped me come up with a lot of the concept art. She was acted in some of the skits and sketches that we've done before, and yeah, she's just an all around awesome person. And then there's been a lot of people who are just been kind of like on the journey as I've been doing comedy that have been super helpful as well. There's so many that just giving me a little bit of a space to say something, let me work out when I was growing, you know what I mean? Because when you're first starting out, it's, you know, I feel like with singing, it's like very apparent that you're good at it. You know what I mean? Like as soon as you put work, like get it on the microphone and start singing words, people were like, oh my goodness, that's so beautiful. Whereas, you know, with comedy, it's just like, oh, like, you know, until you figure out how to say things and how to bring it across. And then people look like, yo, that was great. You know what I mean? But it takes a moment for people to actually develop that voice. Whereas singing, you just kind of have it. You can hone it a little bit. And then with comedy, I feel like it's not quite the same, but you can hone it in the same way. So yeah, man, there's been a lot of people. I mean, I feel like everyone that I meet, though, kind of helps me a little bit along the way, because I very much believe that we're all connected, and any energy that anybody's ever given off or given me, I take that as a little piece of me. So, you know, I just feel like my success is everyone's success, because I'm soaking up everything from all those around me.
That's awesome.
Has your wife started? A lot of times with comedians, their wives or people around them start taking a little bit of that funny bug, and she like, especially when you bring those ideas, has she become like a little snarky, like, yeah, that was a great idea, like creating the atomic bomb, yeah, that was a great idea.
Yeah, well, she knows that she is the most hilarious person ever. And occasionally I will disagree. But she, you know, she's really funny, and she's been on stage before, and she has some really great comedy. And there's a lot of things that she says that sometimes I'm very grateful that she, you know, isn't on stage. So I'm like, oh, great, I can use that. But she is really funny, and the bug did get her, so she did get on stage, and she's performed in front of a good number of people. I think there was like 70 people there, or 50 or 60 people, in between 50 and 70 people. I don't know. I can't count. I can't count that high. I lost it after, you know, all the computers came and started autocorrecting. But there was a bunch of people there, and she got on stage, and it was great. She showed her stuff, and, you know, I was really proud of her. She's very funny. She's got some comedic timing. But, you know, I'm the funny one. I'm the like arbiter of funny in the family. So I deem her as funny, you know, occasionally, but she's like, I'm funny all the time. And I'm like, but nah, she's pretty hilarious. The funny bug has gotten her, and we got the dog involved too. Like, we have a little dog, and I feel like our dog has so much like comedic talent and ability, because that dog, she's just so funny to me. And that's why the next special I think I do is going to have a large portion of dog jokes. There's going to be a lot of like dog. So if you're a dog owner, you'll probably like the next special, because it's you know, it's coming from a guy who didn't have a dog to like just observing all the funny shit dogs do. You know, it's just wild.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's hilarious. You know, it's like have you ever thought, like, I mean, I feel like in a dog's head, they would be like very confused about like, why do y'all design these fancy ass rooms to shit in? You just no area, you shit in it. I don't understand. What's all this pageantry? You build whole houses around places of shit. You just walk, you sniff it, you shit in it. I 100% feel like that's, you know, in the inner workings of like a dog's brain. Like
it's funny you say that, because I was thinking about writing a children's book from a dog's perspective.
Oh, really? It's so great. Well, here, I'll tell you this one story that was fun. I don't know if it's going to go in the thing, but you tell me if it's funny. So the dog used to live with my girlfriend. She was then my girlfriend, and so she, you know, lived in this townhouse or whatever, and the dog had never visited my apartment. And then so when she came to live with me, then the dog came here as well. And, you know, the dog's potty trained and everything is fine. It doesn't like pee or anything in the house. And so like I was going to the restroom. I think she was gone, and I was like taking a shit, and I left the door open because, you know, I was a single, I was a bachelor. That's what I just used to do. There's no, why shut the door? It's my house. No one else is here. You know what I mean? But then the dog was there. So then the dog walks into the bathroom and is kind of just like looking at me as I shit. And I'm just like, oh, like, hey, Sadie, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is awkward, but okay, all right. I pet her and then she goes along her way and then I finish my shit. And then so like, it's like 2:30 in the morning and then I wake up and I walk in there and there's like shit all over the floor. And so I looked out, I was like, what the fuck? Because she doesn't shit in the house or whatever. And then in my mind, I started thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, she was probably like, oh, this is a shitting room. This is where we shit. Okay, cool. I guess I'll just shit here. Like, I don't need to go outside. I'll just shit in the shitting room. This is where you shit. This is where I shit. Everybody's happy, right? I felt like she was so confused. I like, why can't I shit in the shitting room? Why do I have to go outside? But it was just a funny moment where I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, that one was on me. I should have closed the door and not shit in here because she thought that this was where she was supposed to shit.
Oh, that's hilarious. You should definitely put that one in there.
Yes.
She thought it was a shitting room, man. It was great.
So what advice would you give to an up-and-coming comedian to level up their game in not just navigating the field, but also working through the pandemic?
Oh, shit, quit. Just find another passion and try that. No, it's, comedy is a different thing. What I would say is write. Keep writing. Keep writing and practice. That's what you're going to need. The thing is, we don't know what things are going to look like once all of this is done. You know what I mean? Like how comedy is going to look. So I think you just have to kind of find your own path. But as long as you keep writing and keep practicing, whatever avenue you take within comedy you're probably going to be pretty successful because you've been thinking about it a lot. You've been putting things on paper or typing them down, however you do it, and you've been performing them. And those are kind of the key prerequisites to being successful.
Now, it was mentioned in your introduction that you performed at the Sundance Film Festival.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience there?
So I've been to Sundance a few times. And it was kind of cool because I was actually in a movie that year as well. It was called Traveling While Black, and it was up for an Oscar for Best Virtual Reality Experience. So it was cool because I was in that movie, right? And then I was there because I am an investor in this company called Legion M, which is like kind of the first fan-owned entertainment studio, and that's like kind of their big thing. And it's like really interactive. You could talk to the people there. So I was, they were having the lounge, which I had been to the previous year, and I was like, it'd be great. We should do like a open mic or do a show here. And I was like, I'll host it or whatever. So I came out there, and they were really cool. They were like, yeah, let's give it a go. So they made up they made up a little flyer, a little poster for it, and then we had the open mic, during the festival. It was like at one of the parties or whatever. So that was a really cool experience. Looking back on it now, I'm like, ooh, I'm very lucky that it turned out successful because it could have not been great. You know what I mean? Like I was still pretty new into comedy or whatever, but I was kind of just fearless. I'm like, man, whatever. I'm just going to do this thing. You know what I mean? I want to do it. I'm hungry. I'm just going to do it. So, went out there, had some really cool comedians come out there with me. Gaston, who's a friend of mine. He's a comedian. He travels all over Africa and, just about all over the world doing comedy. And then Christina Payne, who's another great comedian who, she travels all over as well. She's out on the West Coast now, I believe, but she came out there with me and we put on this show. We kind of just hosted it. And then it was kind of like an open mic where anybody else who's a comedian could come out and just tell some jokes at this thing. And there was a good amount of people there. It was like, it's kind of like any other open mic that if you've ever been to the comedy scene, like on the comedy scene, it's like any other open mic that you've been to, like, it's kind of a bar and people are like, oh, there's comedy now. Like it was kind of like that. It was sanctioned by Legion M and it was at the Sundance Film Festival. So I'm like, yeah, I'm putting that on the resume. That counts, I'm claiming it, but it's great. I love Sundance because I do love film. And, I've done some short films. I have a few of them out. And I really love telling stories, man. And I think that's what I do in my comedy too, is like tell a story. And I think one of the best ways to paint a story is through a movie or a film. And I think, I think I've learned a lot of what I've learned in life through watching movies and really looking for and getting the message in them. And sometimes, maybe I'll look for a message that wasn't there, but I think that's the whole point of the film. You put that story out there, and then people take what they want from it and glean it. So, I really feel like that is my plight, to be kind of a storyteller. Like that is the profession, the craft that I'm taking up above all else, and the comedy is just like kind of a natural thing. But I think the craft and the profession would be storytelling that I move on to. But Sundance is beautiful. I love it. I hope it comes back in all its glory.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go. I'm a big fan of like the independent film. New ideas, new things, and just
there's like a buzz in the air. It feels great. You should go. Do you like skiing? Have you ever been skiing?
I have, but I'm not so great with skiing. Like my sister used to love it. I think my bones are now a little bit too old.
Right.
I'll probably fall flat on my face and break a leg or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad that I did it earlier, and I feel like if you went out there, you don't have to ski, but it's right there if you wanted to. I've been out there 3 times and I haven't skied any of those times, but it's nice. The town is really, really nice. The people are really, really nice. There's just this feeling of the air. There's all these creators and new ideas buzzing around and opportunities right around the corner. And you're hanging out, and then, you can find yourself at a party with, Wu-Tang or whatever, like what? Because when I went out there last time, they had their documentary, and they had a party out there. I wasn't able to get into the party, which was upsetting, but but next time I'm figure out how to get in there. But yeah, man, Sundance is beautiful. You should just do it. Just be like, you know what? Caution to the wind. Book the ticket. Go.
I will think about it for sure. Whenever we can travel again, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I know people are still traveling. So we talked a little bit about the next episode. What else is next for you? What should we be on the lookout for in 2021 and beyond?
So right now there's a project that I've been working on for a while, and it's a documentary about comedy during kind of this era, the pandemic era. And my idea was when this first happened, I was on stage basically nightly, and I couldn't figure out what I should do with comedy in this new era of not being able to go out because we're stuck inside. And I thought it was a very kind of important and crazy time, within the world. And, to a certain degree, I was like this time seems very, dangerous, and maybe we've told too many jokes. Maybe that's how we got here. Like we didn't take enough things seriously. Maybe we should take it seriously. So I had stopped performing, but I was like, if I'm feeling this way, then other comedians are probably feeling this way. So being a filmmaker, I was like, maybe I should document it, make a documentary on it. And if somebody else is doing a documentary on it, I don't think they're talking to the funny people that I know. And if nobody is doing it, I feel like somebody should get like a comedian's point of view on what's going on, because it's a very important time. And now we see how even more important it is with, everybody talking about like the First Amendment and freedom of speech and all that type of stuff. I think comedians will be able to actually tell people like, hey, this is really like what freedom of speech is about, not necessarily like I think we'll be able to put it into a way where people can understand like it's not free, like you can't freedom of speech isn't being able to talk about overthrowing the government and making people do it. That's not necessarily freedom of speech, you know what I mean?
And thinking you're not going to get punished for it.
And thinking you're not going to get punished for it. It's not freedom from consequences, you know what I mean? But
yes.
But there is going to be like a kind of a change in how things are going. And I think comedians are going to kind of be on the forefront of making sure that we all have and retain our ability to speak freely, especially in this country. And we'll have to know, what that means and what that looks like, without, causing things that are so, dangerous within the country. Anytime I hear somebody talking about like, oh, we can't let that person speak, it always worries me, because, it's great when you're the person. And this kind of goes back to your first question, Dana, like where it was, like people are getting upset about certain things and what's being said. And when you start saying, I don't want to hear that person say that thing, that's fine, right? Because it's you and you're like, I'm offended. I don't want to hear this person say the thing. But when the shoe is on the other foot, then someone is telling you, you can't say the thing that you say. And they think they're just as right as you are. You know what I mean? So at a certain point, it's like you have to allow things to be heard, but we have to actually, have better deductive reasoning to figure out what things should not be listened to and what things, kind of fail. But my whole point being, I feel like comedians are going to lead us in that way because we stand on the edge of that. So part of this documentary is kind of exploring that, talking about that, but then also talking about everything that we've gone through from our lens on, the country being shut down, the pandemic, and all that type of thing. So I'm really excited to come out with that. I think we just figured out a name for it, but I'm a little bit scared to say the name because we're still kind of in discussions of what the name should be. But I think we figured it out. But yeah, comedy documentary is coming. I'm going to do another special that's coming out, and then I'm going to do a podcast with my friend. It's called the Black Irish Podcast. So that's going to come out pretty soon here.
So with that pandemic special that you plan on doing, will there be a segment dealing with the documentary? Would there be a segment about the twisted tea? That's the big thing right now about the whole twisted tea aspect.
You know what? That just, it's funny. I've done most of the interviews for it, but things keep popping up. That's what's so crazy. It's like, so I started it out and it's like, okay, let's talk about COVID or whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like the racial protests, they start breaking out. And then that's, totally crazy. And then, during that time, also right before that, Joe Exotic had come out. So, that, like it went and then the election happened, you know what I'm saying? Or like leading up to the election. So all that happened. So that was crazy. And then we went on lockdown again. And then the vaccine came out. So it just kept going. And then all of a sudden we get a new president. And then there's like, this overthrow of the cap. So it's like, it keeps rolling. Like every time I'm like, all right, well, we're going to focus on this thing. And then some new shit like pops up. And it's like, oh, I guess we got to cover that. You know what I mean? Like, so because people are probably going to want to hear what was going on there. But the twisted tea thing, I think we need more twisted teas in this world. Twisted tea hit the jackpot. I mean, I feel like that's so crazy. You can have a product that you've had out for years, and it just takes one dude slapping the shit out of someone being ignorant, and all of a sudden you go viral. You're like, yo, we've been marketing for years. We couldn't get people to drink, and now everybody's drinking twisted tea.
That's the best product placement with no advertisement costs ever.
Oh,
between that and Popeyes.
Yeah, but the way that the can exploded was so perfect. It just busted. It was like a movie. You could have scripted that one better. But the thing that I liked about that video the most was so the dude flipped the tea, like he flipped it, and he was thinking he was going to catch it, and then he dropped it. And I think the guy who got hit in the face, he got hit with the extra force because the dude failed in his flip. So he was mad because he didn't catch the flip that he meant to catch. So then he got a little extra sauce on it when he hit it. When you like try to do something cool and then it messes up, and then that just makes you even angrier. I don't know if a lot of people peep that, but like he tried to flip it and catch it, and then he dropped it, and then I think that made him even angrier. Where he's like, you know what? And he just, he took all of it out. He took all of his uncoordination out on him too.
I think between the original and all the remix videos that people have done with a lot of this stuff, it's like, it makes it even better with the remix videos with the music put to it and everything.
Yeah, I put a meme out with, like with all the Capitol thing. There was that guy who was taking the podium out and just like waving or whatever. So I put a meme where like the twisted tea, the twisted tea guy was there, like put it back, like right before he hit him to the face, which I thought was great.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, now people are doing like remix videos of the people getting rejected at the airport for the no-fly. And everything.
Man, look, I just think, like, listen, I have white friends and white people. They're great. Like some of the friends that I have are great, but it must be great to be like white in America. It's like, hey, what did you do? Oh, we just stormed the Capitol, stole a podium, went home, made some pot roasts. Like they came skipping out of the Capitol like everything was fucking fine and dandy. Like, you don't think you're in trouble for that? Like that's pretty major, bro. You really thought that was all good? Like
they're walking out with that white privilege card. Was like, I'm good.
But listen, here's what the thing I thought was crazy about it is they were strolling out. You know what I'm saying? Like the niggas do something, we ducking and dodging and shit, like, you know what I mean, trying to get away. They went strolling, like yep, just went ahead and ransacked the Capitol. That's all today. And then they went home and fucking made dinner, like everything was fine. It's like, it was funny. There was like this tweet, and it was like this guy was just like, yeah, we went and we did the thing or whatever, and then his tweet was like, wait, why is the FBI calling me now? And then it's like deleted his Twitter account or whatever. It's like, yeah, bro, yeah.
Thank you for the photographic evidence.
Yeah.
Or the Facebook lives that everybody was doing while they were there.
No, but you could tell how this is why. Listen, if you're very upset about what's going on, you should have listened to Black people more, because we would have told you. We would have been the first ones. Don't say your full name on the video, dum. They're just like, yeah, my name's Kevin LaWayne Alexander, and I stormed the Capitol. I stole the podium. And they're just like
and I'm from Alexander, Mississippi.
I'm from Alexander, Mississippi. I came here. We're trying. Like, the one lady looked into the cameras like, we're trying to overthrow the government. Like, that's treason. You just admitted to treason into the camera. What are you doing? You can't do that. Hey, what? But they really think that they own things, and there wouldn't be any repercussions. And it's just like, yo, that's a wild mindset to have, that like you can do that. But hey, I don't know, $1,800 over the course of a year. I feel like I'm surprised more people aren't upset and up in arms or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like but that's the problem. I feel like that is the thing that probably needs to happen, is we need to start talking to one another to figure out where all the anger and the all this hate is coming from, to like kind of bring things down, because the downside of that is we're just going to have a country that's constantly in conflict, and that's not a great place to live. You know what I mean? Like, nobody, like, have you ever been somewhere where mommy and daddy are just fighting all day long? Like, that's not a fun household to be in. You know what I mean? Where it's just like constant fighting. You eventually want to not be there. So I hope that we can, start talking, but I mean, that's what Dave Chappelle, another great comedian, that's what he said in that 846. I don't know if people, caught that, but he's like, yo, we have got to come together, because if we don't, the only thing left is the clanging and the banging, like shooting. Like, that's literally, if we don't come together, the only thing left is basically fighting and war. And that's what he said in his 846 special, is like, if we don't come together and figure out how to live together, there's only one thing left. And this is why, a lot of times when I'm talking, I try to say things with love, and I try to, come at things with understanding, and not so much anger and vitriol, even though sometimes it feels justified. It just leads you down a dark path. And the only place that path leads to is a war, which we, as funny as it is, we are very close to having a situation like that if we don't start coming together.
Now, is there anything else you would like to share before we sign off?
I don't know. That's it. That's all the time we get. I could talk to y'all forever. I mean, have I been doing too much talking? Was there anything y'all wanted to say? Because I feel like I've been rambling on. No, and there might be questions that y'all like. No, no, it's great. I got the next special is going to come out sometime in 2021. Got to see how the year is progressing to figure out how we're going to do that. But that the documentary will probably be out sometime March, April timeframe. Actually, it might be June. Usually, I finish a project around the June-ish time, so it might be that late. But we'll see what happens. that's it. I'm really happy about the special. I got to say something live on YouTube. Oh, look, there it go. Totally self-produced. I went in there and made the whole thing. Made the whole thing myself. Chilling in my living room. It's a great little piece. Oh, the last thing I didn't mention this or whatever is your listeners would be happy to hear or might want to hear. Like I'm really into Bitcoin and different digital assets. You guys should look into those things. Talk about it a little bit in the special. Might talk about it more in the next special, but it's something y'all should definitely kind of look into. The world's going digital. Get you a piece of the digital future before it gets there.
Alrighty, well, I think that was a great episode. I really enjoyed the conversation that we had tonight. It's just so much fun. I get to talk to so many different people,
Yeah.
And Dana's an amazing partner to have. The show would definitely not be what it is without her, and all of the guests that definitely bless us with their time and their presence.
And y'all are great. I love both of your shirts. I love the Captain Marvel. I love the Roots Run Deep, Melanin, and yeah, I love the shirts, man. Y'all are doing it up. Y'all have a really good thing going here. I hope you keep it going because I love hearing your voices and the voices that you bring on the show.
Awesome. Thanks. We love the feedback. Like, it's really good. So it helps us shape the show, and we always get new ideas whenever folks come on. So we
Wait,
got
did I spark any ideas? What ideas did I spark?
You did. So I know you saw before the show, I posted up the Q Park video to hype up the Level Up. And I was like, we need to get Q Park on the show. And Dana was like, we need to get Q Park.
We said it at the same exact time.
Oh man. Yeah, dude. That's cool, man. I appreciate the promo. I appreciate you guys sitting and talking to me. And I know that my perspective may be contrary because to what a lot of people's perspective is kind of in the world right now, but I feel like it's still a valid perspective because I think at the end of the day, once we get past the anger and the hurt and everything, we're going to need healing and love, and I hope to be somebody who kind of exudes that and brings that to the forefront, and people can take that away from my comedy.
Yeah, so Danny Quick said
there you go, man. There you go. Always looking for great ideas. Thank you, Danny.
Yeah, Danny has an awesome TikTok, and he's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. So you should definitely check out his episode too. For
sure, man. I can't wait. Now, Danny, you have to go watch the special now so that we can commiserate and you can see if you enjoy my sense of humor.
That's right. Watch the special. Check it out, guys. I dropped the link in the comments, and I'll do it again if it didn't come through. But I'll make sure folks can see it.
Moana, I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and I really do appreciate it, man. You're just as great as I assumed you were from the first time we were kicking and hanging together virtually or whatever. Very cool. Very much appreciate it.
Well, that's good because then that way we're not in your next episode of your talking about us like, ooh, let me tell you about this podcast I was just.
Nah.
I takes all hey, make fun of me because then they're gonna be like, oh, what podcast is this? Yes.
Right. Yeah. Well, just lastly, I'll say is my sister's got a great website. It's called They Made Me Wear It. So if you have dogs and you like to dress them up and put them in certain cool things, go to her website, check it out. She's got a cool Instagram, cool YouTube, and everything. It's called They Made Me Wear It.
They made me wear it. Okay.
That's amazing. I can see how that can be very successful with the right push.
Right.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Please be sure to like, subscribe, share, get the word out about the podcast. Let us know what you think. If there are some other guests you would like to see us bring onto the show, please drop them in the comments or send us an email to moananuipodcast@gmail.com. And we look forward to hearing from all of you. Take care, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.